two things you should never talk about: religion and politics. But strangely, the only things that really matter are tied into those two subjects, religion and politics. I'm in a conundrum. Is that a word? No. Conundrum? Screw the word. I'm confused because I feel I must talk religion and politics because that's what makes up me, not just as a person who considers themselves to be a communicator, but me as a person. I was answering comments on videos this morning, and I found myself writing something without giving it a lot of thought. But sometimes you write things without giving it much thought that are probably pretty profound. I talked on the phone yesterday with another friend who supports McCain. He's an acquaintance. He's not a friend. And again, the N-word came up. His exact quote was, "That damn N will never control this country." What did he mean by that? I'll tell you what he meant. The KKK is alive and well. They're not wearing sheets. But sadly, that racism is still here. And it will taint this election, as if the electoral process is not already tainted enough. And I got to thinking about this. I remember what a nightmare of a time we went through during the Vietnam War. And I remember how things were manipulated. I was a television reporter in Eugene when the SDS supposedly blew up an ROTC building. Well, strangely enough, that night I was at an SDS meeting with the radical SDS group that supposedly blew up the ROTC building. You may think me brash, but I do. I watch people's eyes. I saw those kids' eyes. They didn't blow up that building. First of all, they were all inside this other building having a meeting. Those kids were in shock. Yet they got blamed for blowing up the ROTC building. Things are manipulated. Why can't people see that? Things are orchestrated and arranged. It's almost like there's a deliberate movement here to rip this country in two. I'm a pacifist, and I will be a pacifist. I will be a martyr if I have to be. We have a religious group of zealots who believe that their interpretation of Scripture is the only interpretation of Scripture. Their religion did not even exist when the Constitution was etched. This election is not just about racism. This election is about freedom of religion. You see, Jesus Christ was a pacifist. Of that there is no doubt. When they grabbed him in the garden to crucify him, God, that I believe him to be, he could have brought legions of angels. He could have smithed those people. He could have turned them into pillars of stone. He could have annihilated the entire planet with but a thought, because he had right on his side and he had all of the power in the universe. Yet he allowed them to take him. Could there have been a greater demonstration of pacifism when all right is attacked by all wrong? It is in here. A sword cuts off an ear. And it is here that Christ says, those that live by the sword shall die by the sword. I don't say this to be melodramatic. I say it to justify my right to practice my religion. I attend no church with a flag, because mixing the two is very dangerous. I remember so well, not from reading it in any history book, but by living it, the nightmare that this country went through, the division in the Vietnam War. It is nothing compared to what is coming. Think about it. The United States has never won a war since that horrid day they dropped that bomb on Japan. Bullets don't give a damn about good, bad, truth. They only kill. Why do we jump in between two children fighting in a schoolyard and tell them, hey, you will achieve nothing with this violence? I tell them, when you hit him, you hit yourself, because you are interwoven. Shame. Shame on what this country is allowing to happen. I won't bend. Mark my word. I hope more people will become Christ-like. And I pray that we're allowed to practice being Christ-like in the months to come. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be maudlin, but sometimes you just have to stand your ground and tell people, between you and me, you drink your bathwater. Excuse me.